The road south continues in the Dakar. Competitors discover the first dunes of the rally and the famous Mazuga erg. A very bad day indeed for Mitsubishi, and especially for two-time event winner Hiroshi Masuoka. The Japanese suffered a big crash. David Prétignier started the rally with a clear intention of worrying the KTM favourites. Not an easy task on his smaller 450cc machine. Whoa, yeah. Yesterday, and a look back at the first African special. Familiar tracks for many, but also a new experience for the others, the newcomers. Amazing sceneries that only Morocco can offer. The first long, dusty stretches. This is the Dakar, and this is why the event is so huge, but also so difficult. And it wasn't a surprise if many witnessed their first desert nightmares. And that indeed was the case for Swiss quad rider Marcus Senn, forced to stop in the dust of the other passers-by. A mechanical upset on his Kawasaki.
It's everything okay with me, thank you, yeah. There's only technical problems.
You have a technical problem?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
A technical problem indeed for the Swiss rider.
He's 5-year-old, and she say, it's for you, Daddy, that you drive careful in the desert.
Careful and cautious indeed. A clutch problem on the quad of Marcus Senn. Already difficult to cope with riding a quad, a very physical bike indeed. Just imagine having also to repair it. But Senn carried on the special. So, technical problems for some, falls for others. And for these two British riders, Darren Dewsbury, but also Simon Collis. And the problems also concerned the cars. And this Spanish pair, Jorge Gaig and Rosendo Turinan, the rear hub of the BMW damaged here. Time to lie down and do the necessary. And a hammer can do miracles. Very demanding tracks and ruts for both man and machine. And to finish a Dakar, one has to know how to drive. But probably most of all, one has to know how to repair. And the Spaniards were back in the race. Despite the pain, the loss of time, they eventually were to finish the special. 4 hours drift, more falls in this one for Belgian Yves Teninck, and almost one for Jean-François Darin of France. Meanwhile, problems continued for poor old Marcus Senn. Still that clutch. Much more serious were the worries of car number 336, the Honda of Pascal Thomas and Pascal Larocque. A serious crash for them, no injuries however, but a bruised and battered car. Everything's ripped up, ripped off, explains co-driver Larocque. Well, explains Thomas, we were in the dust since the start. We were being very careful, not overtaking. But we'd been following a buggy for over 30 kilometers and the track was wide. And when we overtook, we crashed the car. Well, the French pair were unfortunately forced to quit the race. Rally over for the Honda. End of story on the Dakar. And the Dakar heads further south but remains in Morocco, taking off from Er Rashidia, a 639 kilometer stage including a 386 kilometer special, short liaison to warm up, and then a Dakar classic, the first dunes, sandy stretches and stone tracks. Navigation will be even more important. Tonight the competitors will be in the splendid city of Ouarzazate. Freezing cold conditions in the first hours of the day when the bikers took off for their stage. Temperatures under zero during the nights. It was time to wake up and warm up, heading south to warmer conditions. A long and demanding stage indeed. A bad day yesterday for Isidre Esteve, who struggled with navigation. He finished 19th at stage 3 and therefore took off in 19th spot this morning. So one could certainly expect the Spaniard to manage something good today. Well, it wasn't good, it was excellent. The KTM Gauloise rider clocked the fastest time of the day. Just over 4 hours on his bike. Esteve caught up with over a dozen riders on his way to his 6th triumph in the Dakar. And unlike the big guns, the Spanish rider rode most of the day on his own, entering the first dunes of the event. A real classic of a stage today, all of what Morocco has to offer: navigation, rocky paths, and then sand stretches, the Azougamerg. According to title holder Cyril Desprez, it was like riding the famous Le Touquet race, the famous enduro event based in north of France. Surprising to see hundreds of fans massed in the dunes. Cyril Desprez, title holder, started the day special in 3rd position, just behind Andy Caldecott and Andy Grider. Not the best of positions, but one of the race favourites. And the KTM Gauloise leader was soon to catch up with the men in front. But Desprez was also to be caught up by Mark Coma at CP1, that's kilometre 122. Desprez versus Coma. The battle in the battle of this Dakar. And at refueling, they were both together. Less fuel, more stops. A very funny stage, explains Coma, with the first dunes. Many spectators, many Spanish spectators. I was happy to say hello to everybody. I caught Cyril, and we'll see what will happen in the last 150 kilometers. The end of the Atlas Mountains in Morocco. And Ludivine Puy, the lady on her KTM, explaining that it isn't easy for a lady. She's doing beautifully so far. Managed to finish the Dakar last year and make it to the podium by the Lac Rose. A great day for Spain with a victory for Isidre Esteve and a new overall leader, Marc Coma. Good day for him. And it was to be expected. He took off in a later position, caught up all his rivals, and at the end of the day he could enjoy a 4-minute 51-second advantage on the day's winner, Isidre Esteve Pujol. Cyril Desprez is currently in third position overall, 5 minutes and 6 seconds adrift. He finished the day in fourth spot. Good day as well for Carlo De Gavado, the Chilean, a new official rider for the KTM Repsol team. He finished third today, and he's fourth overall. A support rider for Isidre Esteve, David Casteux, again impressive today. He finished fifth, losing some 15 minutes on the day. Andy Caldecott, winner yesterday, who explained after the stage that it was very, very difficult with the navigation, difficult to choose the right track. A bad day for David Frétinier. He lost 18 minutes on his smaller 450cc Yamaha, and he explained that the day had been very, very fast, a lot faster than the previous days. And happy birthday to Chris Place, 25 years of age today. He's 10th overall. So to the results, Isidre Esteve victor today in front of his compatriots Marc Coma. Desprez is in fourth spot in front of the other French rider David Casteux. And in the overall standings, Coma has close to a 5-minute advantage on Isidre Esteve. Cyril Desprez is just behind. A typical Moroccan stage with many stones, very rugged roads, dunes, and a final fast section. 380 kilometers explains Coma. Quite a lot for today. Now we can say that the Dakar has really started. It's time for two things. I like the fact that GPS is reduced because the Dakar has become more difficult to explain, explains Esteve. Now we're in Morocco when we always have tracks. And as a consequence, it's very difficult for a rider starting in front not to be caught by those starting behind him. But when we're in Mauritania and we face the dunes, then things will change. These days starting in front and winning is difficult, but not impossible if you manage to keep a good pace since the beginning. And tomorrow I will start in front. I'll try to do it. Desprez explains that in Morocco we always have surprises because there are many tracks, and so the navigation becomes tricky. Added to that, this year we have no GPS at all. We have no co-driver. So for the moment I just try to keep focused and keep a good pace. So now it's not time for playing games, at least for me. Last year, explains David Frétinier, was much slower. And more than that, weather conditions helped me a lot because it forced us to go slower. This year conditions are perfect and the speed is very high. I hope that in Mauritania speed will slow down. Otherwise it's going to be very difficult. The Dakar relishes of fun stories. That of Frenchman Jean-Claude Morciot, 53 years of age, is rather unusual. He's indeed to start this year's event on a sidecar, a crazy project for this man who competed on four wheels on 3 occasions back in the 80s. But yesterday, in the first African stage from Nador to Air Rashida, it all went wrong. After waking up at 4:30 a.m., he made it to the bivouac at 11:30 p.m. I'm exhausted, but I'm okay. Happy to be here. But I've no longer a clutch or a starter. I had a huge crash, I tumbled, and everything was destroyed. Tripmaster, GPS, etc. All the electrical system is to be repaired. Handlebar is completely loose. The light is not right anymore, just brightens the stars. I won't start tomorrow's stage because I would need all day and all night to fix everything. I woke up at 4:30 this morning, and after such a day I'm completely exhausted. So for this year, Jean-Claude Morciot's adventure is already over, but may we see him again in the future.
And obstacles get tougher still. Some take the road less traveled. but only a special few dare to make a road where none exists. That will make all the difference. The Dakar Rally continues only on Supersport. Proudly sponsored by Total Quartz Lubricants.
And to the car race, it was a nightmare of a day for the Mitsubishi Armada. The big favourites for the overall victory lost one of their key players today. Hiroshi Masuoka saw his victory hopes fade away between CP1 and CP2 of the day special. A massive crash for the Pajero Evo 4, 2 front tumbles, and a big scare for the Japanese. Completely destroyed rear part of the car. Almost all had been ripped off. Masuoka eventually managed to finish the special on the finish line of the day stage. The Dakar winner in 2002 and 2003 lost close to 28 minutes on the day's victor, and despite the crash, the Japanese still managed to finish, which was almost a feat in itself. So a bad day for Masuoka and for his co-driver Memon. We were getting quicker and we got to a danger 3 zone, which was a tarmac crossing, and I told Hiroshi too late about the danger. So it's completely my fault, explains the co-driver. So the first dunes as well for the cars, and a fantastic battle in the early stages of the day between two former winners, two former two-time winners, Stéphane Pété-Ancel and Jean-Louis Schlesser. Schlesser, of course, started first today after winning yesterday's special, and he was rapidly to be caught by the winner of the 2 previous stages. But the man of the day was this driver, Carlos Sainz. Very disappointed yesterday after serious navigation problems for his first stage on African soil. The Spaniard made the best of his late starting position, 12th, and he proved that he could do just as well on fast European WRC type specials than on typical Dakar courses. Carlos Sainz the winner, Volkswagen the winners of the day's special, with all their drivers in the top positions. Watch Utah Kleinschmidt, impressive stuff indeed for the German driver, a winner in 2001. Kleinschmidt finished in 6th position. A good day as well for Mark Miller in 10th spot. An excellent day for Thierry Magnaldi. He beat the boss, Jean-Louis Schlesser, finishing 2nd today, only 2 minutes adrift. Magnaldi driving a Schlesser Ford buggy, V8 engine buggy, extremely powerful on this kind of stage. Nasser Al-Attiyah, the Qatar driver, thought he had won the stage. Fastest time at CP1, fastest time at CP2, but it all went wrong in the last 150 kilometers. A puncture, and Nasser had to settle with a late position. Luc Alphand, the other Mitsubishi driver, finished 3rd today, 3 minutes and 10 seconds adrift. The fastest of the Mitsubishi drivers. Ahead of Nani Roma, disappointing 11th. He lost 11 minutes today. And he also had a fright. Henri Magne, his co-driver, explaining that a danger is to come. 200 meters, 100 meter danger zone. And Nani Roma explaining, well, that he didn't feel very comfortable there. Bad day as well for Robbie Gordon, who lost almost 4 hours on the day. Appears the American suffered rear hub problems on his big Hummer. NASCAR specialist is currently 69th overall, 3 hours and 54 minutes adrift. And what a day it was for the newcomers in the dunes, the Mazuga erg. And even the most experienced were stuck in the sand. Hubert Auriol, a winner on 2 and 4 wheels. Back into the Dakar, and he too was stuck. Mr. Auriol, the former race director a few years ago, with a helping hand from the Moroccans. And a difficult way to get back into gear for his comeback on the world's biggest rally race. A difficult day as well for Thailand's Porn Surished, driving alongside experienced Jean Brucy, a former biker, now a co-driver. Oh, see Daisy.
Okay.
And the Thai driver gets stuck in the sand. So a difficult day indeed for all the competitors today. They really discovered what the Dakar was all about. Not easy for the cars, nor for the big trucks. But again, the biggest news of the day concerned Hiroshi Masuoka, forced to withdraw from the race. The Mitsubishi team will now only be counting on 3 drivers, Roma, Alphon and Peter Hansel. Bad news for Hiroshi Masuoka. So the car results, victory again for Carlos Sainz. 4 stages, 3 victories for the Spaniard, beating Thierry Magnaldi by 2 minutes. Alphon is third at 3 minutes and 10 seconds. The overall standings for Carlos Sainz. He's the new overall leader, ahead of 2 other Volkswagen Race Tuaregs of Sabi and Kleinschmidt. Well, it was a good day for me. It was difficult with a lot of dust, but everything went well, and we managed to keep a good pace. 3 wins out of 4 stages. Yes, indeed, but all the experts say that the real Dakar begins in Mauritania. Just doing my race day after day, trying to learn and to do what I can. Well, in the dunes there were many people, explains Magnaldi. It was a bit like the 2K Enduro in France. 5 fantastic kilometers. The day went well for us. Good pace. We did better than yesterday. No punctures. A good day for Luc Alphon, the first dunes with no worries for us. It's a place we know rather well. The pace is still very high, and that is a worry for me. We saw today the first accidents. Unfortunately, it concerns our team. Personally, it was a good day. It was still a kind of game with the dust as during the 2 previous days. If you stop behind, you can gain time in navigation. We did get lost, explains Peter Hansel. There was a point which was not really clear in the road book. We continued on the wrong track, then decided to go backwards for 7 kilometers. And it was a bit too much. At this point, we faced other competitors, so they overtook us. The truck race with the first problems for Mickey Piazzi on a big fright there, just avoiding a car, just avoiding the spectators. But unfortunately, technical worries for the former WRC driver. First of all, stuck in the sand. Very impressive indeed in the European stages and in yesterday's first African stage. The Iveco driver. And when such a big machine is stuck in the sand, well, it's obviously not very easy to get it out. Yes,
Il
Jan-Lof,
faut qu'elle sorte du
precious
cours.
time.
Et derrière, elle peut suivre quelle crête jusqu'à le contrôle.
And the Moroccan band explained that he has to get out the hole, and then normally it should be okay. Rather optimistic. The Italian who made it to the bivouac very, very, very late, losing a lot of time in the overall standings. Second position today for Hans Stacey, the Dutch driver, who finished 2 minutes and 42 seconds adrift behind this man. Vladimir Chagin, four-time winner of the Dakar and the winner of the 4 previous stages in the overall standings. Rather surprising, Chagin has 1 hour's advance on Karel Lepreish, looking good for the Kamaz and for the Russian. Fast stretches and navigational traps is what the competitors are to expect for tomorrow's stage, going from Ouarzazate to Tantan, a 187-kilometer liaison before a 350k special all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. So more drama tomorrow. That's it from today. Spanish day on the event with victories for Isidre Esteve and Carlos Sainz.